Most people over 50 are not tired because they are lazy. They are tired because their body keeps receiving the wrong morning message. Coffee before water, sugar before minerals, stimulation before nourishment, a quick snack instead of real recovery. And then by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the same thing happens again. The eyes get heavy, the joints feel older than they should, the stomach feels slow, the mind wants something sweet. The body asks for help, and most people answer with another cup of coffee, another cookie, another pill, or another promise that tomorrow will be different. But what if tomorrow does not need to begin with punishment? What if it begins with a drink, not a miracle drink, not a fake cure? A simple cup made from plants, roots, fruits, seeds, fermented foods, spices, and ancient ingredients that people valued long before modern labels turned everything into a product. Aloe, ginger, tart cherry, beetroot, chia, lemon, kefir, coconut water, green tea, cinnamon, pomegranate, cocoa, honey. Some of these ingredients are directly tied to the biblical world: pomegranate, cinnamon, honey, aloe in its ancient aromatic context, and the whole idea that food and drink are part of daily wisdom. Others, like cocoa, chia, coconut water and green tea, are not biblical ingredients in the strict historical sense. They come from other lands, other traditions, and other centuries, so we will not pretend otherwise. But they belong in this story because they follow the same old principle. Before the body breaks down, support it. Before digestion becomes a daily complaint, give it rhythm. Before energy disappears, stop confusing stimulation with nourishment. Before aging feels like a sudden collapse, build small habits that help the body keep working with you. Now let us keep this safe from the start. None of these drinks replaces a doctor, none of them cures disease. None of them gives anyone permission to stop medication, ignore symptoms, or treat a serious condition at home. This video is for education and general interest. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, liver disease, gallbladder problems, reflux, blood pressure issues, bleeding disorders, allergies, or if you take prescription medicine, speak with a qualified professional before making big changes. That warning matters, especially for people over 50, because after 50 the body becomes more honest. It tells you when coffee hits too hard. It tells you when sugar does not love you back. It tells you when digestion is slowed down. It tells you when sleep is lighter, when inflammation feels louder, when recovery takes longer, and when old habits are starting to cost more than they used to. The body whispers for years, then it raises its voice. A little bloating after meals, a little stiffness in the morning, a little fatigue after lunch, a little craving at night, a little brain fog when the day should still be fresh.
And because these signs arrive slowly, many people accept them as normal aging. But sometimes what feels like aging is not the whole story. Sometimes it is dehydration, low fibre, poor sleep, too much sugar, too little protein, not enough minerals, a tired gut, or a daily rhythm that asks the body to perform without giving it real support. That is why drinks matter. Drinks enter the routine quietly. You do not need to redesign your whole life on Monday morning. You can begin with a cup. One better choice, one better signal. So let us begin with the drink that looks the gentlest, but teaches the most important warning: aloe vera. Most people know aloe as the plant you put on skin after too much sun. You break open the thick green leaf, and inside is that clear, slippery gel that feels cool the moment it touches your hand. That cooling quality is why aloe became famous. But aloe has an older and more complicated story. In biblical language, aloes can refer to aromatic substances used in perfume, burial preparation, and sacred settings. It may not always mean the same aloe vera plant people grow on windowsills today. Ancient plant names moved across languages, places, trade routes, and centuries. That matters. Because one of the biggest mistakes people make with ancient ingredients is assuming every old word points to the modern bottle on the shelf.
Still, aloe vera, as we know it, has earned attention for a reason. The inner gel contains polysaccharides and other compounds studied for skin comfort, moisture, and tissue support. Some people also use prepared aloe vera juice in small amounts for digestive comfort. But listen carefully. Prepared aloe juice is not the same as throwing a whole aloe leaf into a blender. The clear inner gel is different from the yellow latex near the rind. Aloe latex can act as a strong laxative. It may cause cramping, dehydration, electrolyte problems, and medication interactions. For older adults, especially people taking heart, kidney, blood pressure or diabetes medications, that is not a small detail. So the aloe drink is not about being brave. It is about being precise. If someone uses aloe as a drink, it should be food grade, properly prepared, latex free, and taken in small amounts. It can be mixed with water, cucumber, or a mild smoothie. It should feel cooling, not harsh. Aloe teaches the first rule of natural drinks after 50. The plant part matters. The preparation matters, the dose matters. Natural does not mean safe in any amount. And that lesson protects you through the rest of the list. Because the old world respected plants not because they were harmless, but because they were powerful. Now ginger. Ginger is the opposite of aloe. Aloe cools, ginger warms.
Slice fresh ginger and the smell rises immediately. Sharp, spicy, almost electric. It does not politely sit in the cup. It wakes the whole room. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogales. Researchers have studied them for nausea support, digestive comfort, inflammatory pathways, and circulation-related effects. That is why ginger tea feels so different from plain hot water. It has movement inside it, and after 50, movement matters. Not just walking movement, digestive movement, circulation movement. The feeling that food is not sitting like a stone. Many people over 50 say the same thing in different words. I used to eat this with no problem. Now it feels heavy. My stomach does not wake up like it used to. I get tired after meals. Sometimes the body does not need a punishing cleanse. It needs warmth, a nudge, a signal that digestion can begin. A simple ginger drink can be made by steeping thin slices of fresh ginger in hot water. Some people add lemon. Some add a small amount of honey. The taste should be warming, not painful. That is important. If your ginger drink burns like a dare, you made a challenge, not a habit. Ginger can worsen reflux in some people. Large amounts may interact with blood thinners or affect bleeding risk, especially before surgery. People with gallbladder problems or medication concerns should ask before using it regularly. So keep it gentle. A mild cup after a heavy meal, a warm cup on a cold morning.
A small ritual when digestion feels slow. Ginger teaches a second rule. Support the body, do not bully it. Now tart cherry. This one does not sound biblical. It is not from the landscape of ancient Israel. It does not appear in scripture as a sacred fruit. But it belongs in this routine because after 50, recovery becomes one of the most neglected parts of health. People talk about energy all the time, more energy, more drive, more stamina. But fewer people ask why the body is not recovering, why sleep feels lighter, why joints feel stiff after small efforts, why muscles complain longer, why the body feels tired even after rest. Tart cherry juice has been studied for sleep quality, exercise recovery, muscle soreness, and inflammation-related markers. Tart cherries contain anthocyanins, those deep red-purple plant pigments, and small amounts of natural melatonin. That is why some people drink tart cherry juice in the evening. Not as a sleeping pill, not as a cure, as a gentle food-based signal for nighttime rhythm. The key is small and unsweetened. Juice is concentrated. A huge glass can bring a lot of natural sugar. People with diabetes, blood sugar concerns, kidney disease, or potassium restrictions should be careful and ask for guidance when needed. A better approach may be a small amount of unsweetened tart cherry juice diluted with water in the evening. Not every night for everyone. Not a rule, an option. Tart cherry teaches that health after 50 is not only about pushing harder, sometimes it is about recovering better. The body is not a machine that only needs more fuel, it needs repair time. Now beetroot. Beetroot looks like the earth turned into a ruby. Cut it open and it stains your fingers. The juice is dark, red, earthy, sweet, and almost dramatic. You cannot pretend you are drinking something weak. Beetroot is rich in nitrates, which the body can convert into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is involved in blood vessel function and circulation. This is why beetroot juice has been studied for blood pressure support, exercise performance, and oxygen use. After 50, circulation becomes a bigger theme. Energy is not just about calories. It is delivery, oxygen delivery, nutrient delivery, blood vessel flexibility, the ability of the body to move life through itself without struggle. That is why beetroot feels so interesting. It is a root, humble and heavy, yet it speaks to flow. A beet drink can be made with small amounts of beet juice diluted with water or blended cooked beet with lemon and ginger. It can taste earthy. Some people love it, some people need to meet it slowly, and beetroot has warnings.
It can turn urine or stool pink or red, which can scare people if they are not expecting it. It contains oxalates, so people prone to kidney stones should be careful. It may lower blood pressure in some people, especially if combined with blood pressure medication. It also contains natural sugars, so again, no giant glasses just because something is good. A small amount. Watch your body. Use wisdom. Beetroot teaches that strength can come from roots, not from noise, not from stimulation, from the ground. Now chia seeds. Chia is not biblical. It comes from the Americas. It does not belong to the world of Moses, David, Solomon, or the ancient Mediterranean, so we will not pretend otherwise. But chia fits this video because it behaves like an old survival food. Small, storable, dense, and able to hold water in a way that almost looks miraculous. Put chia seeds into liquid and wait. They swell. They form a gel. That gel is the reason chia drinks became popular. Chia contains fibre, omega-3 alpha-linolenic acid, minerals and plant compounds. The fibre can support satiety and digestive rhythm for some people. After 50, fibre becomes a quiet emergency. Many people are not eating enough of it. Digestion slows, blood sugar swings, cholesterol markers may rise. Hunger becomes strange. The gut feels less predictable. Then people look for complicated answers. But sometimes the body is asking for fibre and water together. A chia drink can be simple. Water, soaked chia seeds, lemon, and perhaps a small amount of honey if appropriate. But the word soaked is not optional. Do not swallow dry chia seeds by the spoonful. They expand. If they are not hydrated, they can be dangerous, especially for people with swallowing problems or narrowing in the digestive tract. Start small. 1 teaspoon soaked well, not 3 tablespoons. Too much chia too quickly can cause bloating, gas or discomfort, especially if your gut is not used to fibre. Chia teaches a beautiful lesson. Water passes through, fibre holds. Together they can help create steadier rhythm. After 50, steadiness often matters more than intensity. Now lemon. Lemon might be the most abused ingredient on the internet. People claim it burns fat, cleans the body, fixes the liver, melts everything, transforms everything, and somehow replaces common sense. No, lemon water is not a miracle, but that does not make it useless. A little lemon in water adds sourness, aroma, and a small amount of vitamin C. More importantly, it makes water easier to drink for many people. And if you are over 50 and you do not drink enough water, that alone is not small. A habit you actually do is worth more than a perfect habit you quit after 2 days. Warm lemon water in the morning can feel gentle for some people. The sour taste wakes the mouth. It increases saliva. It makes plain water feel less boring.
But lemon is acidic. It can worsen reflux. It can irritate a sensitive stomach. If you sip lemon water constantly, it can affect tooth enamel. A practical trick is to dilute it well and rinse the mouth with plain water afterward. Lemon teaches that a small taste can change behavior, and behavior changes health more than dramatic claims. If lemon helps you drink water before coffee, it has already done something useful, not magical, useful. Now kefir. Kefir brings us into the world of living food. Traditional kefir is a fermented dairy drink made with kefir grains. These are not grains like wheat or barley. They are living clusters of bacteria and yeasts that ferment lactose, the sugar in milk, and create a tart, creamy drink. Kefir can contain a wide variety of microbes depending on how it is made. That makes it different from many ordinary dairy drinks. After 50, gut health becomes less theoretical. You feel it. Meals that once felt easy now feel heavy. Antibiotics may have changed digestion. Stress shows up in the stomach. The immune system feels more reactive. The belly feels more sensitive. The gut is not just a tube. It is an ecosystem. And ecosystems need diversity. Plain kefir may support digestion for some people. It provides protein, calcium, and live cultures if it has not been heat treated. Because fermentation breaks down some lactose, some people tolerate kefir better than milk, but not everyone.
People with milk allergy should avoid dairy kefir. People with lactose intolerance should test carefully. People with histamine intolerance may react to fermented foods. Those with serious immune problems should ask a professional before using raw or unpasteurized products. And the sugar issue is real. Plain kefir is one thing. A sweet bottle with fruit syrup is another. If the label looks like dessert, treat it like dessert. Kefir teaches that the gut does not need hype. It needs consistency, diversity, and food that has not been stripped of life. Now, coconut water. Coconut water is not biblical. Coconuts are not part of the scripture food landscape in the way olives, grapes, figs, honey, or pomegranates are. But coconut water fits a modern version of an ancient concern: hydration with minerals. Coconut water comes from young coconuts and contains electrolytes, especially potassium, along with small amounts of natural sugar. People use it after sweating, heat, exercise, or travel when plain water does not feel like enough. And after 50, hydration can become tricky. Thirst signals may weaken. Medications can affect fluid balance. Heat hits harder. Caffeine habits can leave people feeling drained. Coconut water can be useful in small amounts for some people, especially after sweating, but it can be high in potassium. That matters for people with kidney disease or those taking medications that affect potassium, including certain blood pressure drugs. It also contains natural sugar, so choose unsweetened. Use small amounts. Think of it as a mineral drink, not a beverage to sip all day. Coconut water teaches that minerals matter. But personal context matters more. What helps one person can be wrong for another. That is why, after 50, health advice has to become more personal. Now green tea. Green tea is not biblical either. It comes from a different ancient tradition, but it belongs here because it represents one of the oldest human ideas around drinks: leaves, hot water, patience, and alertness without panic. Green tea contains catechins, especially EGCG, along with modest caffeine and an amino acid called L-theanine. Researchers have studied green tea for antioxidant activity, metabolism, cardiovascular markers, brain health, and healthy aging. But green tea is often oversold. It is not a fat-melting potion. It is not harmless in unlimited amounts. And concentrated green tea extract supplements have been linked to liver problems in some cases. A brewed cup is different from a high-dose capsule. For people over 50, green tea can be useful because it may feel smoother than strong coffee. The caffeine is usually gentler, and L-theanine may support a calmer kind of alertness for some people. Not jittery, awake. There is a difference. But caffeine still matters. Green tea can worsen reflux, anxiety, sleep problems, heart rhythm sensitivity, or blood pressure issues in some people. Drinking it late in the day may disturb sleep. The best place for green tea is usually morning or early afternoon. Plain, brewed, not loaded with sugar. Green tea teaches that energy does not have to come from force. Sometimes the body responds better to invitation than attack. Now cinnamon. Cinnamon belongs deeply to the ancient world of fragrance and value. It appears in scripture as part of sacred anointing oil ingredients and in poetic lists of precious spices. In ancient trade, cinnamon was costly. It travelled long distances. It was not something people casually dumped into a latte and forgot. Its smell meant warmth, ceremony, luxury, memory. Now cinnamon is cheap enough to sit in almost every American kitchen. and because of that, we forget how special it once was. Cinnamon has been studied for blood sugar markers, insulin sensitivity, and metabolic health. The results are mixed, and it is not a treatment for diabetes. But as a spice, it can help make drinks taste warm and sweet without adding much sugar. That matters after 50. Because many people struggle with blood sugar swings, cravings, and the habit of needing everything sweet. A cinnamon drink can be made with a cinnamon stick steeped in hot water. It can be combined with ginger. It can be added to cocoa. It can warm kefir-based recipes if the kefir is not heated too much. It can turn a plain drink into something that feels comforting. But cinnamon has a caution. Cassia cinnamon, the common, stronger type, contains coumarin, which can affect the liver in high amounts. Ceylon cinnamon contains much less coumarin. People with liver disease, or those taking diabetes medication, blood thinners, or other prescriptions, should not use high-dose cinnamon supplements casually. A sprinkle is not the same as a tablespoon. A food amount is not the same as a capsule. Cinnamon teaches that pleasure can support discipline. If a warm spice helps you use less sugar, that is already a victory. Now pomegranate. Pomegranate is one of the most biblical-looking fruits on earth. Even if you did not know the history, you would feel it. A hard outer shell. Inside, red, jewel-like seeds packed tightly together. A fruit that looks like hidden abundance. Pomegranates appear in the Bible not only as food, but in sacred decoration. They were used in priestly garments and temple imagery. That tells you something. The fruit was not just eaten. It was seen as a symbol of beauty, fruitfulness, and sacred design. Modern research looks at pomegranate for another reason: polyphenols. Pomegranate juice contains compounds such as punicalagins and anthocyanins. Researchers have studied pomegranate for oxidative stress, blood vessel function, inflammation markers, and heart-related health. For people after 50, this matters because aging is not just wrinkles or grey hair. It is also oxidative stress, blood vessel changes, slower recovery, and the body's reduced ability to handle daily damage. Think of antioxidants like small shields. Not magic shields, not invincible shields, but part of the body's defense system when the whole diet supports it. Pomegranate juice should be unsweetened and used in small amounts because juice concentrates natural sugar. Whole pomegranate seeds bring fiber and slow down the experience. For many people, that is better. If you drink it, dilute it. Let the tartness work. Do not turn it into a sugar bomb. Pomegranate teaches that some of the best things are hidden behind effort. You have to open the fruit, work through the seeds. Stain your fingers a little. Modern food removes effort. Pomegranate brings it back. Now cocoa. Cocoa is not biblical. It comes from the Americas and entered the wider world much later. So we will not pretend it was served in ancient Jerusalem. But cocoa belongs in this video because for Americans over 50, it may be one of the most psychologically powerful drinks on the list. Why? Because it feels like comfort. And if a health routine has no comfort, most people abandon it. Real cocoa is not the same as sugary hot chocolate. Unsweetened cocoa contains flavonols, plant compounds studied for blood vessel function, blood pressure markers, brain blood flow, and antioxidant activity. It also contains minerals like magnesium and a deep bitterness that can satisfy cravings in a way plain sweet drinks often cannot. But preparation decides everything. Unsweetened cocoa with warm milk, or an unsweetened plant milk, cinnamon, maybe a small amount of honey, and perhaps a pinch of ginger, is very different from a packet of sugary hot chocolate. Cocoa also contains theobromine and small amounts of caffeine-like stimulation. It may bother reflux, migraines, sleep, or sensitive hearts in some people. It should not be taken late if it keeps you awake. But a small cup earlier in the day can feel like a treat without becoming a sugar collapse. Now here is where the story starts to come together. Cocoa by itself is interesting. Cinnamon by itself is interesting. Honey by itself is ancient. But when you combine unsweetened cocoa with cinnamon and just a small amount of honey, you create a drink that answers a real problem for people after 50. The problem is not just hunger, it is the evening craving, that moment after dinner when the body wants comfort, something warm, something sweet, something that says the day is over and you can finally breathe. Many people reach for cookies, ice cream, candy, or a second glass of wine, not because they have no discipline, but because they are looking for a signal of comfort. A better drink can give comfort without the same crash. Unsweetened cocoa, cinnamon, a teaspoon of honey if your blood sugar allows, warm milk, kefir added after cooling, or a fortified unsweetened plant milk. This is not a cure, it is a replacement signal. It tells the body you are being cared for, not punished. And that matters more than most health advice admits, because after 50, people are tired of punishment. They have tried diets, they have tried rules, they have tried giving up everything enjoyable. That rarely lasts. A drink that supports the body and still feels human has a better chance. Now honey. Honey is one of the most important biblical foods, and it appears again and again as a symbol of sweetness, abundance, and blessing. The phrase, "a land flowing with milk and honey," was not about dessert. It was about life that could sustain people. Honey was precious because sweetness was precious. That is hard for us to understand now because sweetness is everywhere. Soda, candy, breakfast cereal, sweet yogurt, sweet coffee, sweet sauces, sweet snacks. Ancient honey was rare enough to respect. Modern sweetness is cheap enough to abuse. Honey contains natural sugars and small amounts of plant compounds, depending on the flowers bees visited. It can soothe the throat for some people in warm drinks, but it is still sugar-rich. People with diabetes, insulin resistance, or blood sugar concerns need caution. Honey should never be given to babies under 1 year old. So honey is not here as a free pass. It is here as a lesson. Sweetness should be used like treasure, a little, with gratitude, not constantly. Honey teaches restraint, and restraint after 50 can be more powerful than intensity. Now let us connect the 13 drinks and ingredients into a daily rhythm, because that is where the real value appears. Aloe teaches cooling and caution. Ginger teaches warmth and movement. Tart cherry teaches recovery. Beetroot teaches circulation. Chia teaches hydration plus fibre. Lemon teaches better water habits. Kefir teaches gut ecology. Coconut water teaches minerals. Green tea teaches calm alertness. Cinnamon teaches warmth without sugar overload. Pomegranate teaches polyphenols and hidden abundance. Cocoa teaches comfort with plant chemistry. Honey teaches sweetness with restraint. These are not separate miracles, they are signals. And after 50, the body needs better signals. Morning signals, meal signals, recovery signals, sleep signals, hydration signals, gut signals. Think of a typical American day. You wake up. Instead of coffee first, you drink water with lemon. Not because lemon burns fat, because hydration comes first. Later, you have green tea instead of a second strong coffee. Not because coffee is evil, because maybe your nervous system needs alertness without being pushed so hard. With lunch, you add plain kefir or a small chia drink, not because your gut needs a trend, because it needs rhythm and fibre. In the afternoon, when energy dips, you choose beetroot diluted with water or a small pomegranate drink instead of soda. After dinner, if your stomach feels heavy, ginger tea. In the evening, if the sweet craving comes, cocoa with cinnamon and a little honey instead of a bowl of sugar. Nothing extreme, nothing dramatic, but the body begins to receive different messages: hydrate, digest, circulate, recover, rest. That is how daily health changes, not from one heroic moment, from repeated signals the body can understand. Now, which drink should a person over 50 choose first? That depends on the problem. If digestion is heavy, start with ginger or kefir. If hydration is weak, start with lemon water or small amounts of coconut water when appropriate. If fibre is low, try soaked chia. If energy feels flat, beetroot or green tea may be useful. If recovery is poor, tart cherry may be worth exploring. If evening cravings are the problem, cocoa with cinnamon may help replace a worse habit. If you want a biblical anchor, pomegranate, cinnamon, honey and aloe connect more directly to the ancient world than some of the modern ingredients. But do not try all 13 in one day. That is the mistake. The body after 50 does not like chaos disguised as wellness. It likes consistency. Choose one drink. Use a small amount. Watch your body for a week. Then decide. If it helps, keep it. If it irritates you, stop. If you have medical conditions, ask for guidance. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Now we return to the promise from the beginning. The most surprising drink for people after 50 may not be the greenest one, not the most bitter, not the most expensive, not the one with the strangest name. It may be the warm cocoa cinnamon drink. Why? Because it solves a hidden problem. Most people do not fail their health routines in the morning when they feel motivated. They fail at night, when they are tired, when willpower is low, when the body wants comfort, when old habits come back. A warm cocoa drink made with unsweetened cocoa, cinnamon, a small amount of honey if appropriate, and a milk that suits your body can give a sense of comfort without turning into a sugar-heavy dessert. Cocoa brings flavanols. Cinnamon brings warmth. Honey brings ancient sweetness in a controlled amount. The drink feels familiar to an American audience because it resembles hot chocolate. But built correctly, it becomes something smarter, a bridge between comfort and discipline. That is the insight. Healthy aging is not about removing every pleasure. It is about rebuilding pleasure so it stops working against you. That is why this drink matters. Not because it heals overnight, because it may help replace the nightly habit that quietly hurts you. Now, imagine this. It is evening. The house is quiet. You want something sweet. The old routine says cookies, ice cream, candy, a sugary drink. The new routine says warm cocoa with cinnamon. You sit down. You drink slowly. No punishment, no drama, just a better choice that still feels like care. That is how health becomes livable. And if it is not livable, you will not keep it. That is the truth many experts forget. Now, let us close with the bigger lesson. The ancient world did not separate food, faith, rhythm and health the way many people do now. A drink was not just liquid. Water meant life. Honey meant abundance. Pomegranate meant fruitfulness. Cinnamon meant fragrance and value. Aloe meant sacred aroma and careful preparation. Fermented foods meant survival. Roots meant strength. Seeds meant storage. Leaves meant attention. Modern science gives us new words: polyphenols, catechins, nitrates, flavanols, probiotics, soluble fibre, antioxidants. The old world gave us images: wells, gardens, seeds, fruit, honey, spice, oil, and daily bread. We need both. Science without wisdom becomes cold. Tradition without caution becomes risky. Together, they can guide a better routine, especially after 50. Because after 50, you are not trying to become 20 again. You are trying to support the body that carried you this far, with more respect, more rhythm, more patience, more attention. That begins with simple questions. Did I drink water before coffee? Did I give my gut fibre today? Did I eat something fermented? Did I choose colour from plants? Did I use sweetness with restraint? Did I support recovery or only chase energy? Did I choose comfort that helps me or comfort that hurts me? Those questions matter, and they are much more powerful than chasing one miracle drink. So this week, choose one drink from the list, just one. Maybe ginger tea, maybe lemon water, maybe kefir, maybe tart cherry in the evening, maybe beetroot diluted with water, maybe chia soaked properly, maybe green tea, maybe pomegranate, maybe cocoa with cinnamon. Start small, make it safe, make it consistent. Let your body answer, because the body often knows when a habit is helping. Digestion feels lighter, energy feels steadier, cravings calm down, hydration improves, evening feels less chaotic, sleep may come a little easier. Not for everyone, not instantly, but sometimes enough to notice, and noticing is where change begins. There is one more reason this matters so much for Americans over 50. The American day is built around speed. Drive-through coffee, bottled energy, sweet tea, soda refills, creamer that tastes like dessert, a protein shake swallowed in the car, a glass of wine at night because the day was too loud. None of these habits looks dramatic by itself. That is why they are so easy to ignore. But repeated every day, they become the background music of the body. And the body eventually starts dancing to that rhythm, whether you like it or not. Blood sugar rises and drops. Hydration gets pushed aside. The gut waits for real fibre. The nervous system gets whipped awake and sedated at night. Then people say, I guess this is just getting older. Sometimes, yes, age changes the body. No honest person should deny that. But age does not explain every bad afternoon, every heavy meal, every craving, every restless night, every foggy morning. Habits explain some of it, and habits can change. That is why the first step is not buying everything on this list. The first step is choosing the drink that matches your weakest point. If mornings are rough, start with hydration. If digestion is slow, start with ginger or kefir. If the afternoon crash is your enemy, look at green tea, beetroot or pomegranate in small portions. If nighttime cravings keep winning, look at cocoa with cinnamon. If meals feel too low in fibre, soaked chia may be the quiet fix you keep overlooking. One drink, 1 week, one honest observation. That is enough to begin. And do not underestimate the emotional side of this. Many people over 50 are tired of being told to give things up. Give up sugar, give up bread, give up comfort, give up flavour, give up the foods you grew up with, give up everything that made the table feel like home. No wonder they quit. A better approach is not always removal. Sometimes it is replacement. Replace the second soda with pomegranate water. Replace the late cookie routine with cocoa and cinnamon. Replace coffee on an empty stomach with water first, then coffee later if you still want it. Replace a heavy dessert every night with tart cherry or a warm spiced drink a few nights a week. Replace a low-fibre breakfast with soaked chia added to something you already eat. That kind of change feels less like punishment and more like care. Care lasts longer. Punishment burns out. So let us turn the whole list into a simple map. For morning, water with lemon, green tea, or a mild ginger infusion. For digestion, ginger, kefir, soaked chia, and small amounts of lemon if tolerated. For circulation and colour, beetroot and pomegranate, diluted and used wisely. For minerals, coconut water in small amounts, especially after heat or sweating, if potassium is safe for you. For recovery, tart cherry in the evening, not as a sleeping pill, but as a gentle food-based routine. For cravings, cocoa with cinnamon and a little honey, built carefully so comfort does not become a sugar trap. For ancient meaning, honey, cinnamon, pomegranate and aloe remind us that old ingredients carried memory, not just nutrients. This map prevents confusion. Because confusion is where people make mistakes. They hear that beetroot is good and drink too much. They hear that chia has fibre and swallow it dry. They hear that aloe is soothing and blend the wrong part. They hear that cinnamon supports blood sugar and start taking spoonfuls. They hear that green tea is healthy and buy concentrated extracts. They hear that kefir helps the gut and choose the sugariest bottle in the store. A little knowledge can help, half knowledge can hurt. So stay practical, read labels, start small, avoid added sugar when possible, respect medications. Do not force foods your body rejects. And remember that the goal is not to drink all 13. The goal is to build a smarter routine. Now, here is the question that matters most. What does your body keep asking for? If you wake up dry and foggy, it may be asking for water before stimulation. If food feels heavy, it may be asking for warmth, bitters, gentle movement, or fermented support. If cravings hit at night, it may be asking for comfort, not another lecture. If energy crashes every afternoon, it may be asking for steadier blood sugar, better hydration, and less caffeine whiplash. If recovery feels slow, it may be asking for sleep support, protein, minerals, and less inflammatory overload. Drinks cannot do all of that alone. But drinks can begin the conversation, and after 50, beginning the conversation with your body is already a kind of wisdom. Because many people spend years arguing with their body. They call it stubborn, they call it old, they call it broken. But sometimes the body is not betraying you. It is reporting honestly. It is telling you what your habits have been saying to it. Change the message, and sometimes the report changes too. Not instantly, not perfectly, but enough to matter. That is the hope here, not hype, hope. A glass in the morning, a warm cup after dinner, a fermented drink with lunch, a tart juice instead of a sweet soda, a comfort drink that does not leave you feeling worse. Small, repeatable, human choices. That is how ancient wisdom survives in a modern kitchen. Now tell me in the comments, which drink would you try first after 50? Ginger, beetroot, kefir, chia, green tea, pomegranate, tart cherry, or cocoa with cinnamon? And if you want more simple, ancient-inspired foods and drinks that may support your body naturally after 50, subscribe to the channel, because the next ingredient may already be sitting in your kitchen.